Hey guys, welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Today we'll be playing some more of the Great Ace Attorney Adventures. Last we left off, we finally were able to meet Giselle Brett, and she is this very fancy, very extra kind of woman, right? She's got this swan hat that she's got on, she's got this very fabulous and massive dress, and she is apparently unable to speak Japanese in court, so our waiter guy Hosonaga is translating for her, but I suspect that she's actually able to speak Japanese. She's just pretending not to be able to. And she is in the middle of giving her testimony, and she kind of slipped up a little bit. She brought up how her and Dr. Wilson had both ordered carbonated water and they were cheering to something, but at the scene of the crime, as the photograph revealed, there was only one glass of water. So she kind of lied about that, and we're kind of in the middle of trying to figure out what exactly is going on with that. Anyway, let's jump right in and see what happens. Okay, so this is where we left off. Ryunosuke was like, what? Of course she's guilty of something. And Kazuma was like, I'd like to know, so let's just pick up from there. I'd like to know exactly how the lady took the glass from the scene. Yep, that makes sense. It would seem that she slipped it into a small handbag she was carrying. Okay. So she could have easily had her gun in that handbag too. Her handbag, you say? Yes, Your Excellency. A small handheld pouch commonly carried by well-to-do women in England. Yep. Oh, ouchie, of course. Once Ouchie hears well-to-do, he just swoops right in. So, the beautiful lady has very graciously explained how and why she removed the glass from the scene of the crime. However, the fact remains that this glass has absolutely no bearing on the case. As far as we know. This student has been trying to confuse the court with logical reasoning. Okay, logical reasoning is bad, I guess? But in the end, it comes to nothing. Since when is logical reasoning not good in court? Ouchie, I don't understand your line of thinking at all. No more pretentious accusations. You have wasted enough time already. Honestly, you're wasting more time with your nonsense statements there. Indeed, the lady has offered a satisfactory explanation as to why she removed this glass. I think henceforth, we can consider the matter to have no bearing on the case. Counsel for the defense, are you in agreement? Well, I don't know really. If you want to pursue this matter further, we're going to need to show that it has some deeper significance. I mean, we kind of have to, right? If we want to get any farther with the case. If we don't want to get the guilty verdict ourselves. Yes, you're right. She's obviously guilty, so she took the glass away in her handbag. If there's a deeper significance there, it's the handbag that she never mentioned before. So that's why the glass is important. I was wondering how the glass was actually gonna come into play and incriminate her. Wait, the lady put the glass in her handbag, you say? Yes, do try to keep up. Look at this smug little... No, I'm not gonna say it. It's already been explained to the court that all English gentlewomen carry handbags for small items. Like guns? Let me see, a little while ago Miss Brett stated the following. There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. But what she forgot to mention was her handbag, where she can definitely hide a gun, in which it would perfectly be possible to conceal a gun. Well, you're right. Well done, partner. I had a feeling you'd pick up on that too. Yep. What are you insinuating, you vile blackguard? You know what we're insinuating. It's really very simple. I mean, that's also it's very standard, right? In a lot of I guess movies, it's not unheard of for like a woman to whip out a gun from her small ass handbag. The gunshot was heard when the defendant picked up the gun from the restaurant floor. Oh, that's Cosmo talking. As he didn't fire that gun, we can deduce there must have been another firearm at the scene. The true murder weapon, if you will. But we never found it at the scene of the crime. No, you can't seriously be suggesting. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes. Did you or did you not search Miss Giselle Brett's handbag on the day of the murder? Obviously not. I'm sure he was ordered to not actually do it or something. No, sir, I did not. He didn't search anything at all. He just straight up asked Giselle Brett if she was concealing a gun, and she said no. He didn't actually like body search, as I thought. In other words, another gun, the one that was actually used to kill the professor, could have been hidden in Miss Brett's handbag. Yep. No! Order! 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 What is the meaning of this, Inspector? You know what it means. The meaning of what, Prosecutor Ouchie? Why on earth did you not have the lady open her handbag and show you the contents at the time? Thanks to your bungling incompetence, now she has to endure these uncomfortable accusations. Brilliant work, partner. Oh my god, this guy really wants to be a cowboy. Maybe that's why he wants to go to the United States to just, oh wait, he's actually gonna go to the UK, never mind. Now we have a chance to expose the real woman behind the mask. Do you think so, Cosmo? What's going on with... Okay, are you actually gonna die here? Well, what a sorry situation. Clearly you have no faith in the police. Huh? As I said, I did not search the lady's handbag after the shooting. Did you search it before the shooting? Simply because it was unnecessary. Was it not on her? Why was it unnecessary? Let's think. Maybe she didn't have it? Maybe Wilson had it. Unnecessary in what way? I ought to thank the student lawyer, really. I have a piece of evidence here that I completely forgotten about. What is it? This photographic print. This print of a photograph that I thought would be prudent to take immediately after the shooting. What's going on with Dr. Wilson's hand there? There's like it's like a bowl, right? It's like one of those things they use for the fireplace. They heat it up, and it's like a stamp of some kind, right? I don't know what they're called, but it looks like it's some kind of sign. Maybe like the Mafia or Yakuza or something. As you can see, it clearly shows Miss Brett's handbag. Okay. Well, I never. You can see right through to what's inside. Is it actually showing the contents? I feel like there's two layers there, maybe. That's right. Apparently, meshwork bags like these are the height of fashion in London at the moment. So the contents are clearly visible. Exactly. So there was no need to search the lady's handbag. If there had been a gun inside, it would have been immediately obvious. As you can see, there's nothing to imply Miss Brett's guilt here. That smile she gives is, ugh. Thank you for helping to prove that, Naruhodo-san. Ugh. Ah! Oh wow. That's the first. Order! Order!
Inspector Hosonaga, you will submit that print as evidence at once.
Can we use the magnifying glass on that or something?
Certainly, Your Excellency.
The photograph of the handbag. After the incident occurred, it shows Miss Pratt's handbag on a chair by the victim's table. Okay.
I think you've had long enough to cross-examine the witness, Counsel.
What's going on?
The court has now been shown considerable evidence. As the photographic print is submitted into the court record appears to have no further significance, I am satisfied that there is no longer any room for doubt in this matter, and I must make my ruling.
Indeed, and there is only one logical conclusion. That the pathetic rookie slumped over the bench before us is the only possible perpetrator of this crime.
Is Kazuma gonna come in for the rescue, or are we just gonna awaken here?
Wait
oh? No. Just when I thought I was beginning to turn things around, I'm in a worse situation than I was at the start. Oh, Kazuma is stumped too, damn. Kazuma? Uh-oh.
Sorry, Ryunosuke.
Oh.
Now that the cross-examination of the witness is over, there's no way to force the trial to continue.
What? You mean this is it? Wow. I mean, we gotta find something new in the evidence in the court record, because Kazuma is just out of ideas at this point. He's kind of given up.
I must say, you put up quite a fight for a rookie student. But the weak are meat, while the strong eat.
Okay.
You were wasting your time. There's no way to defeat true justice.
Is he gonna say something that's gonna trigger, like, an idea?
A fact you can chew on to your heart's content from the inside of your cell.
This can't be happening. Am I really going to be found guilty of a crime I didn't commit? And Kazuma, his dream of going to study in Great Britain will slip through his fingers. Kazuma.
What?
Is there really no chance now of turning this trial around?
You heard the judge. There's nothing about the last photograph the detective produced that we can contest.
Can I look at it for a second here before we move on? What about this though? Like a bull. Have we seen that anywhere? I don't think we've seen it on her person, have we? Maybe that's something that we'll see more of. Also, what's her profile like? We haven't looked at it. British exchange student who was studying under the victim. Okay, that's all we get.
Which means there's no basis on which we can argue for the trial to continue.
Very well, I will now proceed immediately to the ruling.
Someone gonna step in?
It seems we will be able to report to the British government on time after all.
That smug little...
Ryunosuke Naruhodo, having considered all of the evidence placed before me, I hereby find you...
That was Ryunosuke, right? Yeah. We did awaken. Wait, Your Excellency.
Ryunosuke?
I don't think you can rule on this case yet.
Objection! This amateurishness is getting tedious. When His Excellency deems that the trial is over, he gives his ruling. That is the most basic protocol of the courtroom.
Yes!
Your Excellency, just a moment ago you said this. As the photographic print just submitted appears to have no further significance, there is no longer any room for doubt in this matter, and I must make my ruling. So there might be more significance, so you cannot make your ruling. Now that means that if there was a problem with the evidence, some significant detail, I mean, then ruling on the case at this time would be out of the question.
This is blatant straw clutching. Look at this photographic print. All it shows is the handbag the gentlewoman was carrying on the day in question.
What about the second photo we saw? Okay, it doesn't really show much of the background.
There can be no problem with this evidence.
You'd better know what you're doing, Ryunosuke.
I mean, at this point, does it really matter? I guess we could just get a harsher sentence.
I understand your objection, counsel. Certainly, the new evidence submitted by the detective has not undergone the court's scrutiny.
Do I see anything out of the ordinary here? Well, nothing with the image itself outside of the thing on Dr. Wilson's hand, right? And I guess we don't really have a way of examining the handbag to see if there's like layers.
However, I fail to see how we could glean any new information from this handbag.
Ha! My thoughts exactly. Really, the prosecution is becoming tired of this rookie's desperate wheezes.
Yes, I am desperate, but this isn't a wheeze. There's something about this photograph which just doesn't seem right. If only I could put my finger on it. Well, we can, literally.
Very well, I will grant the defense one final opportunity.
Oh, are we gonna have to point to what's off?
What?
But be warned that if I am unsatisfied by your response here, the trial will be over with immediate effect.
Oh my god, oh my, what are you doing with that hammer, Mr. Judge? Or the gavel, I guess. I don't know.
Do I make myself clear?
Yes, Your Excellency.
So, take another look at the photographic print Inspector Hosonaga submitted before. You will identify for the court where in this print we see the significant detail to which you have alluded.
I mean, the big thing is the hand, right? What is this about? This must bear some kind of significance right here, right? We don't know why that's there. I don't think there was... I think that's what our attention is supposed to be drawn to. I don't really see anything else here.
Yes!
Look at this here. There's a very unusual mark on the victim's wrist.
That is true. Looks almost like a burn of some description.
Yeah, like one of those fireplace things. I don't know what they're called. Oh, Miss Brett, come on. What's wrong?
Dear me, I was pondering what new piffle you would come out with. A burn, you say, on the victim's wrist. Clearly, that has nothing whatsoever to do with the magnificent lady's handbag.
Yes, that is a burn mark. You're right.
Ooh.
Go on, Inspector.
The police coroner also noticed it when he was performing the post-mortem examination. It was deemed unrelated to the cause of death, so he didn't note it in his report.
What did I tell you? In any case, we have no idea when the victim suffered this burn, do we? And no possible way of knowing either.
Yeah, but it's some kind of mark that's gonna connect us to the true culprit, right?
The more I look at it, the more I find myself intrigued by the curious shape of this mark. The bull. However, as Prosecutor Aochi points out, unless a firm connection to the case can be shown, I cannot allow any further time to be spent on the precise details of this burn.
Okay. I mean, that's totally fair, but Brett's saying something here. What is it? Excuse me, Your Excellency. It would seem Miss Brett has a lunch appointment with the dean and other university staff. Oh, she's trying to get away. There's something about this mark that's gonna tie her to the crime. She would like to know if she may be excused from the stand now.
Oh, of course, dear lady. We shan't hold you up any longer. I'm quite sure His Excellency is about to give his final ruling anyway.
You don't decide, buddy. Shut up.
What's your thinking on this, Ryunosuke? Do you believe this burn does have something to do with the case?
To be honest, I'm not really sure. Yeah, I honestly don't really know what the obvious connection is, but there has to be something, right? Did we see anything in these photos beforehand that are like, they're gonna clue us in? Maybe, oh, it's just our thing, our badge. Maybe it's gonna have something to do with the gun itself, right? If it has anything to do with the gun itself, maybe... Oh! Oh, it's right here in the photo! It's the stake! So the stake thing was how the burn mark happened. Oh my god, it's right there! But how did this even happen in the first place? It was on his right hand, so he was seated... So the stake was in front of him. But why? That's odd. Well, I found the mark. I found where it came from. But if I don't keep pushing, then it's all over. So I was thinking I should keep digging and digging, in the hope that I might uncover something useful. Yeah, I mean, we found something of significance.
Yes, you're right.
I am?
If we can just link the burn to the case, if we can do that, we might be able to prise this shutting door back open again.
Yeah, I mean, I found the way to do it.
Just give up, Council. You can't possibly hope to do that.
Indeed, I'm afraid that without evidence, I can't allow you to pursue what is little more than conjecture.
What if we had evidence? Evidence that irrefutably linked the burn on the victim's wrist to the case, then you would allow it?
I would, yes.
To tell the truth, I hadn't noticed that burn. But as soon as you pointed it out, what I did notice was the color draining from Miss Brett's face.
Yeah, she's trying to get away. Really? I have to find some link between that burn and the case. Yeah. Yeah, we know what it is. This is the moment of truth. It's time to find some evidence that proves what that burn really means.
So then, the defense will now present its evidence to the court. The evidence that demonstrates an inextricable connection between the victim's burn and this trial is right here.
Yes!
What's this, Counsel? Yet another print?
Yes, Your Excellency. I believe photographic prints are an amazing invention. Oh, we've got this cool hand thing going on. Since when? Why is that a thing on our left hand? I hadn't noticed that before. When we humans look at a scene, we miss things. Yep. But in a photograph, things we may have overlooked at the time are recorded forevermore.
Do hurry up, Rookie. What are you trying to say? To inconvenience this poor lady any further really would be quite inexcusable.
Actually, we may need you to stay with us a little longer, if you don't mind, Miss Brett. Oh, I love this confidence, Ryunosuke. You see, it's very clearly visible in this photograph. How did the victim come to have that unusually shaped burn on his wrist? The reason is recorded here forevermore. What? How?
Objection!
I wonder how it actually happened. There must have been some kind of struggle. Maybe when he, I think he was maybe holding his gun with his right hand, and then he got the burn mark, like, somehow, and then he dropped his gun on the floor, and Ryunosuke picked it up, and that's when Brett shot Wilson. I think that's what happened.
You can't fool me with your little bluffs, boy.
But that would bring up the question, why was Wilson pointing a gun at Brett in the first place? If that was the case.
That's your game, then let's see how it plays out. Show the court exactly what you mean.
Okay, we gotta point out, that's super easy to do here.
What is it in this photograph that explains the reason for the victim's burn?
Right here, my boy. It's right,
Yes!
right here.
The beefsteak.
Actually, the point is the metal plate the steak was served on.
The plate. Ah!
Your Excellency, are you alright?
As you can see, there's an emblem on the plate. I would guess it's some sort of trademark of La Carnival.
Oh,
How do you not know your trademark, buddy? You work here. This emblem on the plate, and the victim's burn are exactly the same shape. Yep.
Ryunosuke, you genius!
I am a genius, thank you very much, Kazuma.
you're spot on.
Which means the victim must have suffered this burn while he was present at the restaurant. Yep.
But even if that is the case, we can't know if it happened on the day in question or not. It could have been the day before, or the day before that. It most likely happened at some other unrelated time.
I think they can easily check that, can't they? Well, it doesn't matter. It was there.
Sadly, Prosecutor Ouchi, the chances of that are extremely slim.
Thanks for stepping in, Kazuma. Thanks. There you go.
Why?
The outline of the burn is clearly discernible. Such a serious injury would have caused quite a commotion in the restaurant. Wouldn't you agree, Inspector Hosonaga?
Yep.
I can't imagine having missed such a terrible disaster, certainly.
Do they really serve those steaks with the platters that hot? I didn't know that was a thing.
But
I would say, looking at the picture of the wound, that it wasn't suffered very long ago.
Oh, there you go. Hosonaga is helping us.
And although it's not a particularly large burn, it's extremely well defined, as the defense just pointed out.
This was no mild burn, that's for sure. It was, yeah, somebody forced his hand onto it, I imagine. And by somebody, I mean Miss Brett. Can you be more specific, Inspector?
Well, let's see. If the plate was at around 90 degrees centigrade, a burn like that would have taken around 3 seconds.
Yeah. So he wouldn't have done that on purpose.
It's inconceivable that the victim wouldn't have let out a scream of pain then.
Oh, are we thinking it happened after he was killed? But why would that have been the case? Or maybe he died and his hand, I guess it just fell right on top of the platter. I don't know.
I've been investigating at the restaurant for several weeks already, but I have not heard anyone scream at all. As the head waiter of Le Carnival, I can testify to that without hesitation.
But you're a detective, not a waiter.
That doesn't matter, man. Yes. Even more reason to believe them, actually. There you have it. Something isn't right here. As the detective said, anyone who burnt themselves on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds would scream in pain. There's no question of that.
And yet Inspector Hosonaga never heard the professor scream. Not on that day, or any before it.
That's right, and the strange thing is, on the day he was shot, I didn't hear him cry out either.
What are you suggesting?
Well, if the professor had carelessly laid his wrist on the plate for anything like 3 seconds that day.
That would be beyond careless, I think, Counsel.
Yeah. And the rest of us in the restaurant, myself, the sergeant, and the old antiques dealer, all of us would, without any question, have heard him scream. Wouldn't you agree, Prosecutor Ouchi?
Well, yes, I suppose.
So the question is, why didn't a single person hear Dr. Wilson scream? The second gunshot could have been to hide the scream. The second gunshot maybe he got shot, and that's also when his hand was on the platter. So those two sounds kind of, but the gunshot wasn't like 3. I guess he would have been dead at that point, and he wouldn't have screamed, right?
Oh. I almost don't believe it. Ryunosuke, do you think...
What? Can it really be true? I never dreamt we'd arrive at a conclusion like this, but I'm starting to think that maybe we've been led into a terrible trap. What's the trap? I don't follow. What's going on? There's only one explanation I can think of to make sense of this apparent impossibility. On the day in question, when he suffered a burn to his wrist, Dr. Wilson was already deceased, no? No man could remain silent while his wrist was burning on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds. That's clearly impossible, apart from in one particular situation.
Counsel, are you suggesting?
Yes, it's only possible if the man was already dead. Yeah. So maybe... Oh, okay. Well, the shot... okay, let's think. Why was that? Okay, who put his hand or wrist onto the actual platter? Was it Brett? Probably not, right? So maybe someone else at the scene of the crime did that? But question, like, what I'm trying to understand right now is that let's imagine he got shot right after getting shot. Maybe as he was dying, his hand kind of I don't know, fell right on top of the platter, and that's how the mark was there. Or maybe when Dr. Wilson got shot, he himself decided to like lay his wrist on top of the thing to leave a mark. But why was the food even in front of him in the first place, right? That's so bizarre. And another possibility is that maybe he died and everyone kind of left the scene of the crime and somebody else kind of did that. I don't know, as a way of connecting. I don't know why. But that's also another possibility, but that's unlikely because Brett was aware of that emblem's presence, the burn mark on Dr. Wilson's wrist. So I think maybe it was Dr. Wilson himself that made the mark. That way, if it was Dr. Wilson himself, then who kind of took his hand off of the platter, though? I don't know. I guess let's continue. Already?
Dead.
Ooh, Brett's surprised too. Knowing what we know is the only possible explanation. When the beefsteak was brought to Dr. Wilson's table that day, the professor was already dead. He was already dead. Did we not talk to Dr. Wilson before that point? I suppose not. I guess, I was like, I meant to say, did we not talk to him afterward? So we're thinking that he was poisoned. That maybe, well, I guess she is a medical student, so she could have whipped up some kind of poison. Yeah, which is very much possible. And the gunshot, I guess, was just a fake. It was not the true cause of death. But why was the gunshot necessary in that case? So if the gunshot was not the real cause of death, I guess the second gun was planted at the scene of the crime to just incriminate Ryunosuke. But I get the feeling maybe Kazuma was the one who was supposed to be framed here, but he wasn't.
That's madness.
Okay.
Order, 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 please, counsel. Explain this absurd notion at once. The victim was killed by a gunshot.
That's right. That's absolutely right, Your Excellency. This is just another ridiculous ploy by the rookie student, but clearly he has no grasp of the facts.
No, Prosecutor Ouchie. It's you who has no grasp of the facts.
I beg your pardon?
As soon as it became apparent that the victim had suffered that burn while at the restaurant, this whole case was turned upside down. Or have you not grasped that yet? Your Excellency, the court must hear from this witness again. If it's true, as we now believe, that the victim was already dead before the gunshot was heard, it's highly likely that Miss Brett knows something about it.
Yeah, she must.
Incredible. I certainly didn't anticipate this twist of events. I'm sorry to say, Miss Brett, that you will have to forget your luncheon engagement.
But, Your Excellency...
Justice system in our country may be in its infancy, but rest assured, all reasonable doubt must be dispelled before I am prepared to pass judgment.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Okay, okay. Is she gonna start speaking Japanese? Okay. What was that smile?
Yes, of course. I'd be delighted to help.
Yep, she does speak Japanese.
Especially if it helps relations between my country and yours.
Yep, told y'all. I called it, man. She's a skunk.
Miss Brett, you speak Japanese? Well, of course I do. I'm studying in your country after all.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like, there's no way a foreign exchange student who doesn't speak Japanese is gonna study in Japan.
But then, why have you been speaking through an interpreter until now?
My mother tongue, the Queen's English, is the most refined and elegant language in the world. As a gentlewoman, I try to avoid speaking in your vulgar tones as much as possible.
Wow. She is a bit of a biatch, right? I guess no one's, okay.
But it seems the men in this land possess none of the chivalrous virtues of English gentlemen. So I can see that I shall have to lower myself to communicating with you all on your low level. Oh, well, you are the epitome of a true English gentlewoman. We are truly honored by this lavish consideration you so graciously afford us.
Okay, Ouchie, we get it. Stop.
I see. In that case, Miss Brett, I will now ask you to testify, in your own words, about the events leading up to the death of the victim, Dr. Wilson.
Okay. She's so extra.
So, we're finally going to hear her own words on the matter. Things are getting interesting, Ryunosuke.
Well, I think we're gonna have to end it right there. I'm still not completely sure as to why we came to the conclusion that Dr. Wilson was dead before he got this steak. The beef steak. I thought that maybe he was actually dead when his arm fell onto the emblem, but I didn't think he was dead for that long. I thought that maybe he got the burn mark after he died. That was kind of my line of thinking, right? But I didn't think he was dead before he even got the food. So that just means the gunshot wasn't actually the cause of death, and it was maybe just to hide the true cause of death, which might have been, I guess, poison. I guess maybe the poison was put in the water, and that's what Dr. Wilson drank, and I guess he died from that. Who knows? I'm honestly not completely sure how he was actually killed. I also don't really have a very good idea as to why the whole gunshot thing was really necessary. Maybe Kazuma was really gonna be the one who was supposed to be framed here, but it ended up being Ryunosuke. But we still have no clue why the gun thing was really necessary if Dr. Wilson was gonna be dead anyway from the food, right? But yeah, I don't want to be that guy, but I kind of called it, right? With the whole Japanese thing being actually being able to speak, because she's a foreign exchange student and there's no way she's in Japan without being able to speak Japanese. Yeah, she was just basically pretending to not be able to. That way, I guess she doesn't actually have to testify herself, and it would be easier to just do it through Hosonaga. That way she gets more time to think to herself, and she doesn't really give anything away tonally or something along those lines, right? Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.